Okay, that was not even working. Hi, I'm back. So, I wanted to make sure and do a section here as far as the road trip about things that happened that were really kind of interesting. Because I believe I made videos that didn't get posted. And so I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna just kind of collapse the trip into maybe 3 videos and just leave it at that. So, I have been using switch words, and you might not know this because I had moved some of my videos, which were not specifically related to life in Texas or van dwelling, this, that, or the other, to other channels. But in order to understand what happened, I have to tell you, Dennis, I have to tell you how it came about briefly. All right, so I've been using switch words. They're kind of like law of attraction trigger words. Let's put it that way. And really, that's not what they are, but it's easier to relate to because if you look up law of attraction, even though that's not the real definition of it, you will see what I mean. So, I since I was driving with nothing else to do, I don't listen to the radio or any of that stuff. So I've been using these words, and the words trigger things to happen. Yeah, some people might call it magic. Some people can call it whatever they want. But what they are officially called is switch words. All right. So there are these words that I was singing as I was, riding along. And there were things that were happening that I can't specifically say on the video, but I can tell you there that I am 100% positive they're related to switch words. All right. If anyone wants specifics on that, we'll do that in a private message. All I can say is, it was smooth sailing, people. You have no idea. You have no idea. After I left the house, and before I left the house, there was some drama. Something happened that was, I felt a little bad about it, but it was like, again, I had kind of precursored myself into leaving in a weird way because in my mind, I had, basically been through this before leaving the house. Uh, but that brings to mind something that actually happened on the way here too, because this is funny. This is a funny one. So I'm leaving Texas, literally leaving the state, as in I'm here and there's the state line. And so is this the last city in Texas from, the route that I'm in on. And as I'm driving through, it gives me one of those reduced to 70-mile-an-hour signs. So, I took my feet off the gas, looking for where am I supposed to go if I'm not going 70 miles an hour down the street? And I didn't see anything because I was distracted by the name of the city. I was like, that's a weird name. And the next thing you know, there's a cop behind me. And I pull over and I'm, really kind of like, what? What is he doing? So he gets out, he comes to the driver's side of the window. And I let it down and I was just looking at him. I said, kind of like, yeah. he's he's like, do you know why I'm stopping you? And of course I'm like, not really. Because again, my attention was on the sign. I knew I had, reduced my speed. And he said, well, you were driving in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, it's a school zone. And I was like, really? So, wow, no idea about that. And yeah, you were going 42. I was like, whoa. And I kind of might have known how fast I was going. I just didn't know anything about the zone thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And so he got my information and none of it matched. That's a whole different story. But he didn't seem to care. He went and looked it up and he said, I can't even find I can't find any trespasses. What's the word they use? Citations or whatever on you. And I said, yeah, I don't get tickets. He's like, okay. He said, I would love to not give you a ticket. Actually, Because, I haven't had any tickets in like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years or whatever. Partly because I don't really drive that much. I'm not, I didn't tell him that. But he said, well, yeah, I really don't want to give you a ticket. I'd love to give you a warning, but because of the actual speed, I have to. So he was giving me the ticket, and he goes, this isn't an admission of guilt. And I was like, okay, that's fine, thank you. And I said, I do have to tell you, I was distracted by that sign. Of course, probably not. After he's giving it to me, I can tell him, right? And he goes, yeah, that is an odd name. I know, we just kind of laughed it off. And I told him I was going to get my done when I got here. So as I'm leaving the town, right, after he had first of all, this, like I said, this happened when I was leaving Texas before, when I got married. Literally, I got a ticket on the road out of my street. I was going too fast. Man, I was trying to get out of town. But so that was funny. But when I was leaving after him, I noticed this happen again, where they have the reduced 70-mile-an-hour sign. It was like the city up the road. But on their signs, they were serious. They were like, reduce speed from 70. And then it's like, the speed is 60. The speed is 50. The speed is 40. The speed is 30. And the town, the little drive-through town, was 30 miles an hour. But they were clear about it. So yeah, me and the judge will be talking about that. Speed trap. I'll be back.